The door opened. It opened quickly, quite wide, as if someone were pushing it boldly and energetically. A man entered. We already know him. It was the traveler we saw wandering in search of food and shelter. He came in, took a step, and paused, leaving the door open behind him. He had his knapsack on his back, his stick in his hand, and a rough, hard, tired, and fierce look in his eyes. Seen by firelight, he seemed a hideous, sinister apparition. Madame Magloire had not even the strength to scream. She stood trembling, her mouth agape. Mademoiselle Baptistine turned, saw the man enter, and started up half alarmed. Then slowly turning back again toward the fire, she looked at her brother, and her face resumed its usual profound serenity. The bishop gazed tranquilly at the man. As he was opening his mouth to speak, undoubtedly to ask the stranger what he wanted, the man, leaning with both hands on his club, glanced from one to other in turn, and without waiting for the bishop to speak, said loudly, "Listen here. My name's Jean Valjean. I was a convict. I spent 19 years in prison. 4 days ago, I was freed and started out for Pontellier. For 4 days, I've been walking from Toulon. Today, I walked 35 miles. When I reached this place this evening, I went to an inn. They sent me away because of my yellow passport, which I had shown at the mayor's office, as the law requires. I went to another inn. They said, 'Get out.' First one, then the other. Nobody would have me. I went to the prison, and the jailer would not let me in. I crept into a kennel. The dog bit me and chased me away as if he were the man and I the dog. I walked in the fields to sleep under the stars. There were no stars. It looked like rain. And where was the good Lord to stop the drops? So I came back to town to find shelter in some doorway. In the square, I was resting on a stone when a good woman pointed to your house and said, 'Knock there.' I've knocked. What is this place? Are you an inn? I have money, my savings, 109 francs and 15 sous that I earned in the chain gang over 19 years. I'll pay. What do I care? I have money. I'm so tired. 35 miles on foot, and I'm so hungry. Won't you let me stay?" "Madame Magloire," said the bishop, "another plate, please." The man took 3 steps toward the lamp on the table. "Look," he exclaimed, as if he had not understood. "Did you understand? I'm a convict. I'm just out of prison." He drew from his pocket a large sheet of yellow paper, which he unfolded. "There's my passport. Yellow. As you can see, that's enough to have me kicked out of wherever I go. Would you read it? Me, I know how to read. I learned in prison. There's a school there for anyone who wants to. See? Here is what they put on the passport. Jean Valjean, a liberated convict, a native of," that part doesn't concern you, "has been in prison 19 years, 5 years for burglary, 14 years for 4 attempted escapes. This man is highly dangerous." There you are. "Everybody else has thrown me out. Will you take me in? Is this an inn? Can you give me something to eat, a place to sleep? Do you have a stable?" "Madame Magloire," said the bishop, "put some sheets on the bed in the alcove." We have already described the brand of obedience practiced by these 2 women. Madame Magloire went off to fulfill her orders. The bishop turned to the man. "Monsieur, sit down and warm yourself. We're going to have supper in a moment, and your bed will be made while you eat." At last the man did understand. His expression, which up till then had been gloomy and hard, now showed stupefaction, doubt, and joy. An extraordinary transformation. He began to stammer like a madman. "What? You'll let me stay? You won't send me away? A convict? You call me monsieur. And don't say 'get out, dog,' like everybody else. I thought you'd send me away too, so I told you who I am right away. Oh, the fine woman who sent me here. I'll have something to eat, a bed like other people, with a mattress and sheets, a bed. It's 19 years since I've slept in a bed. You're really willing for me to stay? You're good people. Besides, I have money. I'll pay you. I'll pay well." "I beg your pardon, monsieur innkeeper. What's your name? I'll pay all you say. You're a fine man. You're an innkeeper, aren't you?" "I'm the priest who lives here," said the bishop. "A priest," said the man. "Oh, noble priest. Then you don't want any money. You're the priest of this big church. Yes, that's it. How stupid I am. I didn't notice your cap." While speaking, he had put down his knapsack and walking stick in the corner, returned his passport to his pocket, and sat down. Mademoiselle Baptistine was gazing at him sympathetically. He went on, "You are humane, Monsieur Curé. You don't despise me. A good priest is a good thing. Then you don't even want me to pay you." "No," said the bishop. "Keep your money. How much do you have? You said 109 francs, I think." "And 15 sous," added the man. 109 francs and 15 sous. And how long did it take you to earn that?" 19 years. 19 years. The bishop heaved a deep sigh. The man continued, I still have all my money. In 4 days, I've spent only 25 sous, which I earned by unloading wagons at Grasse. Besides, you're an abbé. I want you to know we have a chaplain in the galleys. And then one day I saw a bishop, Monsieur they called him. It was the Bishop of La Major from Marseille. He's the curé that's over the other cures. You know, sorry, I say it so badly, but for me, it's so far off. You know what we are. He said mass in the middle of the place of an altar. He had a pointed gold thing on his head. It shone in the sun. It was noon. We were lined up on 3 sides with guns and lighted matches in front of us. We couldn't see him too well. He spoke to us, but he wasn't near enough. We didn't understand him. That's what a bishop is. While the man was talking, the bishop went to the door, which was still open wide, and shut it. Madame Magloire brought the silver and set it on the table. Madame Magloire, said the bishop, set the places as near the fire as you can. Then turning toward his guest, he added, the night wind is raw in the Alps. You must be cold, monsieur. Every time he said the word monsieur with his gentle, solemn, and heartily hospitable voice, the man's face lit up. Monsieur to a convict is a glass of water to a man dying of thirst. At sea, ignominy thirsts for respect. This lamp, said the bishop, gives very poor light. Madame Magloire understood him, and going to the bedroom, took the 2 silver candlesticks off the mantel, lit the candles, and placed them on the table. Monsieur Curé, said the man, you are truly good. You don't despise me. You take me into your house. You light your candles for me, and I haven't hidden from you where I came from and how miserable I am. The bishop was sitting beside him, touched his hand gently, and said, you didn't have to tell me who you are. This is not my house, it is Christ. It does not ask any guest his name, but whether he has an affliction. You're suffering. You're hungry and thirsty. You're welcome. And don't thank me. Don't tell me that I am taking you into my house. This is the home of no man, except the one who needs a refuge. I tell you, a traveler, you are more at home here than I. Whatever is here is yours. Why would I have to know your name? Besides, before you told me, I knew it. The man opened his eyes in surprise. Really? You knew my name? Yes, answered the bishop. Your name is my brother. Listen, Monsieur Curé, exclaimed the man. I was famished when I came in, but you are so kind that now I don't know what I am. It's all gone. The bishop looked at him again and said, you have suffered a great deal. Oh, the red tunic, the ball and chain, the plank to sleep on, the heat, the cold, the work gang back to the prison ship every night, the lash, the double chain for nothing, solitary confinement for one word. Even when sick in bed, the chain, the dogs. A dog is happier. 19 years. And I'm 46, and now a yellow passport. Just that. Yes, answered the bishop, you have left a place of suffering, but listen, there will be more joy in heaven over the tears of a repentant sinner than over the white robes of 100 just men. If you are leaving that sad place with hatred and anger against men, you deserve compassion. If you leave it with goodwill, gentleness, and peace, you're better than any of us. Meantime, Madame Magloire had served up supper. It consisted of soup made of water, oil, bread, and salt, a little pork, a scrap of mutton, a few figs of green cheese, and a large loaf of rye bread. On her own, she had added to the bishop's usual dinner a bottle of fine wine, old Mauve's wine. The bishop's countenance suddenly lit up with expression of pleasure peculiar to hospitable natures. Do be seated, he said briskly, as was his habit when he had a guest. He seated the man on his right. Mademoiselle Baptistine, perfectly accommodating and natural, sat down on his left. The bishop said the blessing and then served the soup himself as usual. The man began eating greedily. Suddenly the bishop said, it seems to me something is missing on that table. The fact is that Madame Magloire had set out only 3 places that were necessary. Now it was the custom of the house, when the bishop had anyone to supper, to set out all 6 of the silver surfaces on the table, an innocent display. This graceful appearance of luxury was a sort of charming childishness in this gentle but austere household, elevating poverty to dignity. Madame Magloire understood the remark. Without a word, she went out, and a moment later the 3 sets for which the bishop had asked were shining on the cloth, symmetrically arranged before each of the 3 diners. Okay, so we don't do the next chapter. So we're not going to read chapter 4. So we're going to pick up at chapter 5, which is tranquility.